Hello, Leona. How are you? Welcome, everybody. British Virgin Islands in the place. Always on time. Thank you. Huh? Oh, 1 second, folks. You want to take the key and lock it? Take the key. Hmm? Okay. Okay. Welcome, folks. Let's try and get a few more people in here before we get into what we're about to do today. Talk about today. If you're just logging in, big up TJ, big up Garth, big up Mr. Makuk, Kenneth, always here. All these folks, loyal people, Mario, Squan, and big up, bless up. Um, there's tonight's show. We're gonna do like a question and answer and my opinion on some current things that are going on in our sector and get you guys participation on these things. So let's see what people have to say about some of these things. Um, I'm just checking the comments here to make sure I heal up all the people were in here. If you just joining, make sure you give us a shout out so we can, thank you for joining us. Um, Looking for some of our regulars, but also do us a favor and share the link so we can share the information or the discussion with people. Lincoln, big up KC. Um, First off, I must say that Trudy's not here helping me this evening because one of our good friends was just in a car accident and she's heading to the hospital to assist with anything that's needed. So, our prayers and everything goes out to them. Doesn't seem to be very serious. However, you never know. So she's going meeting them at the hospital to assist in anything they need. That's what friends are for. So if you guys are familiar with Levity Inspiration, it's her partner that was in a car accident. Yeah. So we're we're at minimal staff here. I don't know if I'll drag this out too long either myself, because in situations like this you wanna give full support, because if it's the other way around, I'm sure it will be the same. So you know we go with our prayer to make sure everything's good, and hopefully he comes out of the hospital. He's going to get checked and everything, make sure everything is good and there's no hidden injuries or things like that. All right, let's get this started. So, number one thing that I want to address off the top, I want to talk about it, get you guys' opinion on it, is the feed situation, the feed initiative that Lincoln and Peter McCook and them have going. Let me start this out by saying, and everybody should know this by now, I personally use maintenance ration, high pro maintenance ration. I use that. We were part of the development stage of it. So that's what we use. And it's done wonders for us. You know what I mean? You guys see the animals. Um, Based on our production system, it works. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that right off the bat. We don't give it to milking mothers, because we don't find that they produce enough milk with on the ration. So we give it to the kids, we give it to the bucks, we give it to maintenance mothers, and they all thrive on it. They're just amazing. You know what I mean? And but the milking animals, mothers that have kids on them, they get dairy ration. They get the high protein stuff, and we know that that works better for them. You know what I mean? Um, so I'll let you guys know right off the bat what I use. You guys should already know that. But I was invited to, if you guys saw, Peter McCook posted that they're having a meeting with H&L Agro this past week. I was invited to sit in on the meeting, obviously because of the show. So for open for transparency, etc. They wanted me to see how this is working and where they are, and so we can come back and relay it to the farmers. And the purpose for that, my understanding, is you need farmers' participation. Need farmers' participation in this because it's all about volume. In order for them to get the discount that they're looking for, they have to be able to move a certain number of feet, like the bag, the volume, whether it's tons or bags or whatever way they're counting it, you need numbers. Right? And Benjamin, sorry Lincoln, and Benjamin is there, Mr. Benjamin. So I was part of the meeting, listening in, asking questions, and because I wanted to make sure that what I was being told is actually what it is. And I'll tell you that I don't think there's any other initiative that has been this transparent. Whatever they tell you, whatever those videos Mr. McCook is making, it's exactly what he's being told. And I'll tell you straight that the H&L people, they didn't mince their words either. They made it very clear that this is a numbers game and the thin margin on feed. One of the biggest thing I took away from the meeting was they repeat over and over that they don't control the price of the feed. So the price of the feed is controlled by the manufacturer, Nutrimix, Newport Mills, I think it is. So if tomorrow the feed goes up, then H&L have to reflect that. However, the percentage of discount that they agree to will be applied. So if the feed is $100 today and tomorrow it goes up to $110, you still get your discount. That's how I understand it. Peter and Lincoln, and then they can make comments and tell me where I'm if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Right? That's the big takeaway I got, is that the integrity of the discount that's being applied will be right across the board, whether the fee go up or come down. That percentage of discount will be there. The second thing is they're pushing an incentive based program to have the farmers, when the farmers come into the store, okay, this is how they're proposing it work. Let me go from there. They're proposing that Lincoln and Peter and Benjamin, and that they collect names. And there's going to be an account where those names are under the account, right? Peter and them, tell me if I'm going wrong. Give me a thumbs up if I'm on the right track here. I don't want to misrepresent the information. And so there'll be an account. The names will be under the account. So let's say Tom Bedward goes into the H&L store in St. Anne and says, "Oh, I'm part of this group, and here's my name." They have to provide an ID. That ID will be on file. So when they go to store, they provide that ID. Say, "Yes, you're on that program. You get the discount." Now, what they're trying to do also is to get that said farmer to sign up for their loyalty program with H&L. So you automatically get qualified to be part of their loyalty program. I don't know if it's a qualification thing or let me just give it to you. I don't know how it works. I don't know how that part works. But what they're trying to do is to get the farmers to sign up for the loyalty program, which gives them additional discount on H&L items in their store. When you're part of the loyalty program, the loyalty program comes with a certain amount of discount from certain things in the store, right? And another thing that they offered is that they always have damaged lumber, damaged zinc, and that kind of stuff that they can prioritize, that these farmers have access to it. Instead of dumping it to somebody, they will hold them for these farmers to make use of. So Peter says 10 to 15% off of items in the store. I think she says selective items. I don't know, but certain items in the store you get an additional 10. You get 10 to 15% off. Not an additional 10 to 15% off things in the store that has nothing to do with farm. That has nothing to do with farm stuff, and they're gonna try their best to stock inputs, farm agricultural input items for like dewormers and those things. They're gonna do their best to stock them. Another big situation that they talked about was let me get this right, was the transportation. How they explain that some areas where farmers are, there's no store close or they're far from the store. But in order for them to provide transportation, it would have to be one central place that they deliver. Yes, delivery. That they would deliver to that one central spot, like somebody's farm, and everybody else come and get it from them. Everybody's close to them, come and get it from them. So in this meeting, you know, the senior executive that was in this meeting made it very clear that they're serious about this. Those were her words. She is very appreciative of the approach and the fact that as a group they wanted to work with H&L. And the presentation that was made to her and made to her team, she takes it very serious and she wants this to work. Those were her words. She wants this to work. She wants to be in business with these farmers. So from me, take it from me. This is a great initiative. This is really good because it's moving the needle forward. I always talk about, Lincoln talk about moving the needle. When somebody say, "Oh, you're doing this," what I'm like, all I'm trying to do is to move the needle in a positive way. This, I think, moves the needle in a positive way. It gives an additional distribution outlet for farmers. And the objective from the meeting is try to make that stop a one stop shop type of thing. Like you go there to pick up your feed, you can pick up, dewormer, you can pick up medicine, you can pick up vitamins, and they're gonna try to work out a way that you can order it in advance or order it there and come back next week, the next 2 weeks when you're picking up feed again and pick up your item instead of after driving all the way to town, yada yada yada, all that stuff. So I think it's a great initiative, and I think people should, if you are a high neutral mix customer, or even if you're not and you're on the fence of where you want to go, and even what works best for you, you know what I mean? What works best for you, you should look at this option. Talk to Peter and them. I don't even think you have to talk to them. Just go back and watch all those videos, and you get a lot of information from them. So I think where that is concerned, I think they're on the right track. You know what I mean? And I'll be straight and tell you guys, nobody in, from what I understand from the meeting, everybody getting the same deal. Everybody that put their name on that list will be getting the same deal. You know what I mean? And it's surprising because they were under the impression it was an organized association or something that was making this offer or this approach or this proposal to them. They were kind of taken back to find out it's individual farmers who come together and say, "Yo, let's try and get this thing done." You know? So the deputy CEO was in the meeting. This is how serious this is. It's right up the chain. Deputy CEO, um, marketing manager, logistics manager, all these people were in the meeting trying to figure out, okay, is this a viable um, initiative? Is it going to make money for them, or is it going to help them in any way, shape, or form by doing this? And I think coming away from the meeting, I think they want to make it happen. You know, they want to make it happen. They made it very clear that the delivery part of it is a challenge for them because the profit margin on the feed is so slim that if they factor in transportation and all, so they'll be losing. So they have to look at a solution. As a group, they have to look at a solution for that, which one suggestion was a central farm that they can drop it off at. If there's anything else, Peter, Lincoln, and thing that I'm missing, just drop it in the comments. I'll talk about it. But I accepted the invitation to be a part of the meeting for this purpose. So because I think it's from the jump, I thought of it as a good initiative, a good program, and I wanted the information firsthand to make sure that what is being told to the public, being told to farmers, that there was no twist to it. That it's not that I doubt the guys that are involved, but sometimes, broken telephone on them things, the information comes in at one end and at the other end it's a little different. So it's no shade at anybody, but it's best to you know, be there and get the message firsthand. And I must say that they've been spot on. I think they've been reading from something, to be honest, because it's like dead on. What they've been telling people is exactly what H&L Agro is offering. You know what I mean? So I think people should explore it. I am not telling you to do it. I'm telling you to explore it, because if it works for your business, you should take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Even if this lasts for a year, Think of the savings. Now think of the ability to go to one place and get X, Y, Z, all kinds of stuff, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And this concept is not new. It is not new. You know what I mean? The mega stores in Kingston, that's what they're about. You know what I mean? Hyper Super Center or whatever it's called has a loyalty program. You know, so I suggest people look into it. Send Peter them a message. Send me a message. I got information on it because I was there. You know what I mean? Peter said there'll be a price list out next week. And so with that said, I remember, was it last week or a couple weeks ago, when I was talking about the maintenance ration on this show. I think I was on with Lincoln, with Khalil, and somebody made a comment that the maintenance ration is the same price in his farm store. It's the same price as the other feed. I was not happy with that. And the reason I was not happy with that is because the maintenance ration came about as a cheaper option. And for me to learn that it's in this regular feed store at the same price was disheartening, because that means what we did, what we went through, the experiments, you know trying it out on our animals with the intention that, okay, this is a cheaper option for people, and I think somebody dropped the ball. So what I did was, like, after the show, I spoke to Khalil about it. I'm like, you need to talk to your people, because it is not fair for us to go out there saying this is a cheaper option XYZ, and then farmers can't get it as a cheaper option. So just to give you an update on that, it went up the chain, and they're gonna figure out how to keep the farm stores from bringing up the price or evening out the price. Like, it's not fair at all. And Hypro is saying they don't have any control over what the retailers are doing. However, they're gonna try their best to make sure it's adjusted accordingly. Now, I for one think that the manufacturer has the ability to be strong with their retail stores, or their distributors, to make sure that your end user is getting the value that you're marketing out there. You know what I mean? In order for people to believe and trust, when they go to the store, it must say what you advertise it to be. You can't say it's a cheaper option if the goat grower and the dairy thing, whatever, they're all the same price. It shouldn't be. You know what I mean? So we're gonna watch that and see where it goes. And I have strong feelings about it, because it's definitely misleading, and you know it's not good. You know what I mean? So um, that's where that is. You know what I mean? I don't know if Khalil is on tonight. I don't think, I haven't seen him. If he's on, give me a thumbs up or whatever. And I just think the product is good. You know what I mean? We've seen results. We've seen amazing results from it. But to be very clear, it shouldn't be fed to milking goats, right? It shouldn't. That's the thing. It shouldn't. It should be maintenance, like growing kids, your bucks, and all of them. Like, my kids grow up on that. From their 10 days old, picking at things, they start getting it. And nobody have urinary calculi, nobody get bloat, none of that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's, for the most part, free choice in the creeper feed. So that's how effective that thing is. Well, TJ is saying they can only suggest. Um, For I don't know, man. The deal is if you're developing a product and trying to penetrate the market with a product, don't you think you should have some control over the price the end user pays for it? If you advertise it as a cheaper option, what say y'all? What y'all say? Don't you think that's fair to the end user? If it's being marketed and advertised as a cheaper option, shouldn't it be a cheaper option when you go to the store? I think it is. I think it's fair that it should be cheaper. If it's even $10, humorous. If it's even $10, but it shouldn't be at the same price or that close or whatever it is. But it's not one person that told me that's what their experience been. Quite a few people told me that. Quite a few people linked me and say, "Yo, you talk about it on your show, but it's true. It's the same price." So I don't know what the farm stores are doing, but I probably have to tell them, say, "Look, no, I can't. You can't be doing that to our product, especially when it's a new product that you're trying to get. You're trying to get in the marketplace. You're trying to get farmers to use this product. Then you have to develop it and get it right. Tell the man them, tell the farm store them for ease up, man, or give them discount whatever them want. I don't know. Um, so that's where that is. Oh, this is mango with naseberry and some other little thing in it. Yes, TJ, it's you're dead on. If it's the same as other high protein good feed, then there's no advantage. The only advantage is in the lower cost. It's an advantage nutritionally. Well, it's not an advantage nutritionally. I don't know about that, but you know what I mean. I think for what it is and the purpose of it, I think it's pretty effective. You know, I'm averaging 52, 53 pounds weaning weight, 90-day adjusted weaning weight on my wieners. You got the outliers that jump to like 60 and 65, 70, but I base my thing off average. But all of these feeds have certain attributes, certain specific usage. Like the high protein stuff is for dairy, I think. The risk of using the high protein stuff that doesn't have ammonium chloride is urinary calculi and bloat on them things. You know what I mean? So this is where the ration comes in really well because the low protein and lower protein and all the other adjustment they made to it with the ammonium chloride and stuff makes the animal consume a lot more with lower risk. Um, the world is not fair, my friend. I chew that, TJ. You know, see. Colin say it right there. Yeah, the price is so close. Might as well you buy the one with the high protein. No incentive to buy that one. You know what I mean? And Natty Rob says it's not available in Montego Bay. So I'm gonna have to talk to. I don't know why I'm talking to Khalil and them. For them for get the thing out. It's just because they use our name to say yes, yeah, we participated in the development of it. So I guess we have a vested interest to make sure it works. Um, okay, so what's the other topic. Before I move on, anybody have anything else they want to bring to the table? Because basically an open discussion and question and answers tonight. You know, um, any any topic, any hot topic people want to get into, let me know. Drop a comment if there's something on your mind or something in the different groups that came up. All right, so TJ is here. TJ is a guru. Let me see if I have any other what we call gurus in here. Howard Benjamin is not here, is he? Okay, so on in the forum, I had this back and forth with a little discussion with Benjamin Howard about fresh cut up green grass versus good hay. Well, it was just hay, but my comment was good hay is better than fresh cut grass, right? So I told him based on my research and one second, I'm reading TJ's comment. That's his comment. Okay, got it, TJ. All right, so yeah, our Benjamin and I were talking about fresh cut grass versus hay. I said good hay is better than fresh cut grass because it's less water and the animal will get more nutrients out of the hay than the fresh cut grass. 10 pounds of fresh cut grass is not the same amount of nutrients as 10 pounds of good hay. So if anybody in here has any comments or opinion on this, you can voice it. I learned this last year sometime. I knew it before, but I was participated in a workshop online that the farmer to farmer group did. And there was a gentleman, which is a small ruminants nutritionist or whatever from the Puerto Rico. And he was really good. Actually, Khalil was a part of this too. He broke it down to let me understand it like never before. And he he got into the details about the weight of the matter, like grass versus hay, the weight of it. And he told me, he said, well, I asked him a question. I'm like, okay, so what's the pound? In how much an animal should consume in pounds for the day? So he's like, if it's fresh cut grass, an adult animal can consume up to 15 pounds for the day. However, that same animal can consume 6 pounds, 7 pounds of hay and get way more out of the hay than the 15 pounds of fresh grass. And then he broke it down about the dry matter, the water content. You know, when the hay will have concentrated nutrients versus the fresh grass having so much water. They have to consume more. So now the animals consuming more grass have to consume more grass and get the same amount of nutrients, but they can't consume. They only can consume so much. However, if half the amount the poundage of hay will give you equal or more nutrients. The animal can eat way more hay, getting way more nutrition. I don't have access to hay, or it's for me for it to make sense to me. I have to have it where here or it's have to be close by. The hay, the good hay, is all the way in Clarendon, St. Catherine. For me to truck it in doesn't make financial sense. But if I had access to it, that would be the way to go to feed all my production animals. Um, this is TJ the Guru's comment, and Lincoln says that the is key point is good hay. Getting access to good hay is challenging. So I just mentioned that is Howard asked me if there's any good hay in Jamaica. And I said, yes, there is good hay in Jamaica. That's what the horseman them use. You know what I mean? The good hay goes to the horse industry. And then the not so good hay go to everybody else. The horseman them use the really good hay. When those guys are manufacturing a reap hay, harvest hay, the really good stuff have to go to the horseman them first. You know what I mean? It's not even a question. You know, I know there's some farmers that are getting some of the good hay because of them relationship. But for the most part, you know, a lot of people I know complain when them get the hay or it dusty and it this and it that. The really good hay is not that dusty. You know what I mean? Minimal dust. Well, TJ saying getting animal to eat 6 pounds of hay is a challenge. If the animal's diet is just hay and some concentrate, they will eat the 6 pounds of hay in the day. Whether they're picking at it, if that's what they're used to, if that's their diet. You know what I mean? Mackie's diet right now on his animals are just hay and concentrate. That's all he's giving them. Because when he works the numbers, it's cheaper for him to get the hay than to go cut grass and pay a man for cut grass and all of that, transport and the hours up, this and that. So he just decides, say, yo, if he can get the hay on a regular basis like he's been doing, he has a relationship, you know, these animals are just hay and concentrate, you know. And you guys saw the video I did, it's all it is. So if the animals are used to it, then they will consume the hay, pick at it all day till they consume the 6 pounds or whatever it is. Even then, if they only take 5 pounds, it's more nutrient than 5 pounds of grass or 8 pounds of grass, fresh grass. Um, Anybody else have any comments on that? Any opinions on that? Connor asking, so where does silage come into play? We have silage. We only use our silage in the really heavy rainy season. Sorry, I'm checking my phone to make sure there's no crazy message from the situation. Um, we use silage in rainy times or when mostly rainy, when it's really rainy and we can't bring the animals up. We use the silage, mix the silage with the cut grass to create more dry matter. Silage is really good, but the animals got to get used to it. They have to get used to consuming it. It's high in energy too because of the molasses and stuff. Yeah. But silage is the best way of storing feed, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's a little more labor intensive, But you can make it from your at your farm. You don't have to go buy it from nobody else. You can make hay at your farm too, but then you have to have the, the grass to cut and all that stuff. But hay silage can be made from just regular cut up grass and waste and anything, throw it in there that you feed the animal them, and molasses and thing, and airtight bag and pack it away. Use it a month and a half, 2 months later. You know what I mean? Wild tamarind in silage is really good. People do that. We in our silage we have guinea grass, glycidia, which is quick stick, or whatever them some people, I don't know what other part of the country them call it, and then china, that tree with the orange flooring. Yeah, we put all that in our silage, and that's what we use. Our animals eat it, and it smells really good when you open it. Feel like you want to take a bite out of it because of the molasses. But yeah, they like it, and it provides a lot of energy, and it's real good substitute when you can't go cut grass and rain a fall hard and all them things, and it's good. Um, Lincoln saying if you have access to wild tamarind, that's even a better option than hay. Um, yes, but the time, the labor to go get the wild tamarind. That's why Maki is more on hay, because the time that it takes him and the cost to go cut all this wild tamarind for him 100 odd goat them him have, he figured, yo, when he breaks it down and say he's paying 750 or whatever he gets it for per bale, it works out to be almost the same thing, you know, as if him have to pay people to cut all this grass. Cause say if you guys ever seen Mackie's videos back in the day of him cuttings and filling up that truck 3 times a week. Yeah. Um Terence says Al Archer did a simple analysis on the cost effectiveness of A as the energy source. The conclusion was that if you're not selling animals for 100K, hay has not it's not cost effective for meat production. Hay may not be cost effective. Well, there you go. That says it all. That's why the likes of Mackie can do it, because his animals are minimum 100K. You know, um, yeah, makes sense. I think silage is a better option, but silage is more storage. I think just having good fodder bank and them things. Um, Darren says he stopped going to the gym, he cut grass and Lucina instead. There you go. So if you want a little workout, you cut grass and Lucina 3 times a week or however time number. I'm too old for them something. You know what I mean? As I brother I do to remember fire up on the farm, say I know theme lines, some things are no theme lines. The cutting grass and carrying grass are on my lines. I try that couple times with crews and I say, yo, Bertie, you know what? Can't manage that, yeah, man. Can't manage that. So I lay all that to the younger man, then we can lift up things and all them something there. Mikey was going all over the place to get the feed. Yeah, it is not sustainable. So he figured it's better to just buy the hay. What would be an ideal feeding program? Natty, to be honest with you, an ideal feeding program is what works best for you. It's what works best for you. I'll tell you what Cabo Ranch feeding program is. If if you don't know, Cabo Ranch feeding program is maintenance mothers or mothers who are in the middle stage of pregnancy goes to pasture, and we have I don't know, like I lost count how many strips of pasture we have because we use any place we can find. We use it because of the mobile fence. And then mothers that are gonna have kid 1 month before they have kid, they come in, they get shaft grass and some concentrate. And they get that through giving birth up to 2 months after they give birth. So basically 3 months of that, right? Which we call phase feeding. Um, all the bucks that we only have like 4 bucks, 3 bucks. They always get grain because you want them to be ready at all time. Kids, growing kids get grain, and then at the 4 or 5 month, the females that we're keeping get integrated to the herd and they're off grain. Um, so that's how we do it. That is our system. That works best for us. That's make it cost effective for us. But then again, as I said, we have access to pastures. Doesn't mean that you don't have to maintain a pasture and have a managed system, but we have access to pastures. Ideal program is what works best for you, what you can manage to do. That's what the ideal program is. Just keep in mind that you need to make sure the animals get the nutrients they require at the stage of production that they're at. That's the important part. You know what I mean? As Darren says, you can plant your fodder bank. You know what I mean? Half acre, 1 acre of fodder bank that you cut from for your animals if you're a fully intensive. You know what I mean? Um, yes, Anthony, the face feeding thing, I'm a big, big, big um, endorser of that. I think it's the ideal system, whether you do intensive or not. It's the ideal system. Save your money, you know what I mean? Save you tons of money. If your forage is really good, whether it's pasture or fodder bank, then you know what I mean. You don't need to feed a lot of grain. Like as I said, I just feed grain to animals who really need the extra energy. You know what I mean? Like my maintenance mothers, I don't need them to be big and fat. I need them to be in good condition. You know what I mean? And that's what our pasture provides. Seriously, I don't need them to be fat. I don't need them to be acting look like them are go them be. I need them to be in good condition. Yeah, and when here's a beauty about grazing. And I know me may get beat up about this, but I say go. Grazing allows your animal to choose medicine out of the pasture. So now it doesn't whatever choose whatever medicine them choose out of the pasture doesn't work as fast as the chemical stuff. But over time, you know what I mean, they can choose which plant is gonna give them some mineral, which plant's gonna give them this and they know which plant to eat first. You know what I mean? As long as they have enough space and enough forage, and they will always be healthy. They are always good forage and water. What is a good condition weight? Well, it depends on the size of the animal, Natty. You have to do a confirmation score. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try and get Mr. Farron back on the show so he can go over doing confirmation score and them appraising animals and that stuff because he's the man of that, and then y'all can get a better understanding of how to rate your animal. Um, TJ, you're good at this stuff, so if you want to just give me a type in and say, yo, I mean, how to do confirmation scores for your animal and what you're supposed to look for. For me, I have a little understanding of it because I watch so much video and people come and show me. But you don't want to see those bone tips and them things. You don't want to see it pointy. It doesn't have to be completely round, but you don't want to see those sharp bones, hip bones, and spinal bones and all that stuff. So I think that's a 3.5 score. 4 is on borderline fat and them things. You know what I mean? 2 is too skinny. 2.5, 3.5 is good. If I'm Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Um, yes, your eyes don't lie. Here's another thing. You should be able to tell when your goat is dropping off. You gotta have standards of where you want your animals to be, how you want them to look. And you should be able to spot an animal that's dropping off from what your standard is. And then you address that. Check the animal for, worm or diarrhea or whatever it is that's making the animal lose weight. You know, so um, so Natty, to answer your question, a good condition weight is based on the size of the animal. A small animal doesn't have to be heavy, to be in good condition. You just have to, you look at him, coat, he shine, it is not ruffled and look like a shaggy dog or something. It should be smooth and shine. Some animals don't have smooth shining, but it doesn't look. You can tell it's a healthy coat. I've got goat here. They don't carry smooth, shiny coat, but the coat is not ruffled or look jagged or it's just like it looks good. You know what I mean? And weight wise, it depends on the type of animal, type of goat. The weight thing don't factor in because of this. Animals have different sizes, and naturally, it's just how they look, how the hips look. How much meat you can feel along the back. It's not just sharp bones. You know what I mean? That when they're walking, they walk firm and strong and not wobbly or when goats are getting run down, they walk weird and they start look shaping weird, like their neck is elongated up and tails lapping on there. Yeah. So just pay attention to your animals, man, and you will get it. You will see when animals don't look right. I just need to watch my goats coming in, and I can tell which one's gonna look right and I drop off. Um, any other questions? Yeah, alertness. Anytime for me, I always look for my goats, and if they're not, if there's a goat who's always hiding in a corner, tail lapped under, just standing there, there's that sink in behind in their shoulder, then I know something's not right. Tail should be always up. It should always look alert. And if I walk by them, supposed to turn them head and look, not just stand there. You know, those things I look for. Um, any other questions? Any other issues you guys want to talk about? Yeah. So the hay and grass thing. I think hay wins. Except if you can't get it, then work with your grass, man. Give them an abundance of grass, grass or more grass. Good grass. That's another thing. They're not all grass is equal, you know. Not like guinea grass, not all guinea grass is equal. It all depends on when you cut it. You know what I mean? It depends on when you harvest it. Because if the tip of the grass or halfway through the tip of the grass start getting brown and burnt out, there's not a lot of nutrients left in that. You know what I mean? You try to get it when the whole thing is nice and green and fresh. That's when it has a 7 to 8%, or sometimes even 11% crude protein in it, and provide a lot of dry matter. So the goat them will enjoy that and get everything they should get from that. I mean, I know enough about the goats consuming guinea grass because that's all I have, and I know when is the best time for them to eat it versus the old dry tip one, them yellow out tip one, them will have no use. They're just getting a belly full of nothing, you know. So for us, we try to rotate through, even when rain's falling and it's growing fast, and we try to rotate the goats through it fast because we don't want the grass to get old. You know what I mean? If it starts seeding, the grass will not provide enough nutrients. So we have to try and go through before it starts seed. Although sometimes I love to see it seed and blow seed all over the place and grow more grass. But I have to keep the animals in mind that at that stage I'm not get it. If we can't go through the pasture fast enough, we start cutting it and shaft it up. You know what I mean? Because it don't make no sense. They're just out there eating that grass and it's not giving them the amount of nutrients they need. So that's another thing. Um, I had Mr. Farron visit us this past week, and he gave me an interesting insight on the Mombasa grass versus the original Guinea grass. He said the Mombasa grass provides a lot more foliage, a lot more matter, a lot more for storage. It's a lot more mass. But it's like the original Guinea grass, the ones that I have all over the place here, the animals get more from it if they're grazing it because they get more dry matter and nutrition from it. Now I had to consult um, uh, Khalil and another nutritionist I know because I was told that the Mombasa grass is higher in nutrients. So I don't know how true that is now. You know what I mean? I don't know how true that is. If anybody has have any experience with the Mombasa grass, let me know. And if there's any comparison that was done. Um, I don't see any of the doctors or them people tonight, so we're gonna have to do that, get into that discussion another day. Well, the Mombasa is pretty aggressive, but it requires some irrigation and stuff like that. Yeah, yes, Terence. Guinea Mombasa is a hybrid Guinea grass. The leaves are wider. The leaves are thicker, so it gives you more mass. But Mr. Farron is saying it doesn't mean it's more nutrition. You know? Yeah, it grows fast and it look lush and beautiful. Trust me. But whatever Mr. Farron tells me, I hold what he says in high regards. You know, so I'm gonna have to ask some people about that. Okay, here's a good question. We're trending towards the dairy sector. What are the opportunities out there for goat dairy products? Okay, this is a very touchy question for some people. But for me, the way I look at it is education, information is the key. I'm sure 80% of us in right here on this thing know somebody who's lactose intolerant or they're lactose intolerant themselves. Goat milk works wonders for people with lactose intolerance. Now, we just have to get once. I remember the other day when I told you guys about that dairy meeting. Once goat dairy gets into the dairy umbrella of Jamaica, one of the things that I would like to see them do is put out educational content so people can understand the benefits from goat milk. You know what I mean? You create the market and supply that market. So once you start educating and marketing to people, telling them the benefits of goat milk, doing taste tests and all that stuff, you develop a market for it. You know what I mean? Because there's tons of people would rather try goat milk if they know it's better for them. Lactose intolerance people, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you just gotta create the market. People don't know until you let them know. You know what I mean? You gotta make it available. Make the information available. Persistent, consistent marketing of the products and the benefits to the product, and that's how you develop the market. Um, if that answers your question, Connor. Wow, Darren, you throw out the milk star, you can make cheese with it, bro. Make cheese. Go online and look it up. It's not hard to make cheese, like cheddar cheese or something, or mozzarella cheese that you can make use on sandwiches or a thing like. Don't throw it out. And to make the cheese is not hard. It doesn't take long. We're not talking about aged cheese here. We're talking about cheese you can use the very next day. You know what I mean? Or the very like an hour after you done make it, after it come together and sit and just put that on, make some sandwich or whatever and put that on it. Trust me, that's what we do. You know, so don't be throwing out the good milk. And one day if you give them the milk and not tell them say goat milk and see. Because I think people just mentally they're like, oh, it's a goat milk, me not try it. Goat milk to me tastes better than cow's milk. Much difference between the Mombasa and the King. I think the Mombasa is a smaller species. The leaves are thicker, are almost as thick as a king grass, but it's not as stocky. It doesn't have that thick stalk like the king grass. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong if I'm talking about the right grass. If anybody have a better explanation for the king grass, just drop it in the comments. 'Cause what I think king grass is. Yes, Mombasa is a hybrid of the Guinea grass. We have a plot of Mombasa grass here. They grow hard, they grow fast, it looks very lush, and everything else is king grass. I'm sure there's some king grass in there too, because it was planted on where king grass was. Yeah, there you go. King grass is like king with the joints. Yeah, that's a thick stalks, man. We really every time we use king grass, we sharp it up or we put it in make silage with it. Yeah. Um, when you guys are sharpening grass or cutting grass to give your goats, my suggestion is just mix it up with different stuff, not just the grass. You know what I mean? Put some quick stick in there, some china, some lucina, then mix it up. You know what I mean? Because that way the animals get different kind of forage in there. They get used to different kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It works for us because we try to feed shaft similar to what they're eating out in the pasture. So when animals have a transition to pasture, it's not a shock to them. You know what I mean? They're getting the similar stuff they get in the pasture. So you guys should try that. Not just your nice guinea grass or the nice king grass and them things by itself. Throw in some legumes and some shrubs and trees in there. You know, like my rule here with the guys is always like a 70-30 split. I just don't want to see a bundle of grass. You know, you gotta have some tree, some legumes, and some stuff in there. Yeah, yeah, man. Mix it up. You know what I mean? Make it a nice fresh salad for them. You know, everything in it. And that way, if you have to transition them to pasture, they can eat all these different things. Yeah, it all depends on which side of Jamaica you're in. Every grass have a different name and every tree have a different name. It's crazy. So what I may know as king grass, somewhere else is napier, somewhere it's elephant grass according to TJ. Nonetheless, we know what we're talking about, so let's utilize it in the best way we can. You know. Um, what else is in the? Sorry, I'm just reading notes here, the comments. Any other issues you guys want to jump into um, before we call it a night? I'm gonna go check on these people shortly because I won't stay too long. Worm, worming. Here we go. All right, so if you guys remember last year, we had Dr. Delia O'Brien on the show, and she introduced to us a new way of deworming that they're doing at her university, which is a combination deworming. There's two different ways to do it. There is the 12-hour, every 12-hour thing for three straight dosage, and then there is the three dosage over 3 days. So it's two dewormer, not mixed, but given at the same time. Okay, Terrence, we're gonna get to that. Now, there's there's many different ways people are saying about how this is applied. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna re-invite Dr. O'Brien back to give us an update on that, and so we can kind of see what the results are. Know that they're deeper into that. Now, big topic of discussion on the forum lately is which worm that affects goats and sheep, small ruminants, you should be worried about more? And my answer was, well, TJ asked a question if the barber pole worm is the only worm you should really concern yourself with. And I said yes. Other people had different opinions. Now, you here tell us which worm, if barber pole is the only worm you should really concern yourself with, true or false. And we'll jump into it. I know my personal opinion because I watch how much different videos on them things. And so that's why my conclusion was the barber pole worm is the real culprit. The 10-10-30 method. I don't know what that is. I know about the 80-20 or 70-30 method, which is the 80-20 is 20%, 80% of the worm on your farm is carried by 20% of the animals. I know that theory. I don't know what the 10-10-30 method is. So you want to tell me what that is? That's field farm. Tell me what a tapeworm can be an issue. Um, what is the 10-10-30 method? So TJ is saying, yeah, the barrel pole is a bloodsucker that causes anemia and leads to pale lower eyelid color. So there is so many different worms that affects goats or small ruminants and animals, period. Some of them are there, like tapeworm. So much a concern about tapeworm. In fact, I just watched or listened to a podcast this past week where the vet was saying tapeworm really doesn't do any damage. The animals pass them out, just keep passing them out. And it doesn't really slow down the production of the animal. It doesn't slow down, it doesn't affect the eating habits of the animal. I don't believe in deworming. The 10-10-30 method, deworming 10 days apart and last application of 30 days. I'm going to look into that. Yeah, so tapeworm is based on this doctor's opinion, doesn't really do any damage. You know, lungworm that comes out when they say them have cold and they sneeze and this worm comes out, doesn't really affect animal growth, animal appetite, and all them things. Barber pole worm is the worm that does the damage because they're sucking blood. They're actually eating on the animal, feeding on the animal. Animals will survive with tapeworm, will thrive with tapeworm because they just keep passing them out. But barber pole worm is attached to the animal and suck the animal dry till the animal fade away. So, okay, so let's get into this. Anybody's familiar with the 10-10-30 method is deworming 10 days apart and the last application at 30 days. I'm going to have to get Dr. O'Brien on and get into these different forms of deworming, these different methods of deworming. I've never heard of that one. The one that she's recommending, or she recommended that I give it a shot, and it's been working great for us. It's just 3 days in a row, and the reason behind it is that the egg's gonna hatch on the fourth day, and whatever is laid in between gets killed. So you have the dewormer killing them off as they hatch or as they lay the eggs, and over that 3 4 day period, and it's been very effective for us. And we use it's two. We use, whether it's safeguard and ivermectin, we use them not mixed, but use administer them at the same time. Um, TJ, what is your best deworming method? Kenroy, there are organic ways of deworming, except that they work slower. And there are many different um, things that you can use. If you look them up on YouTube and thing, you'll see different people administering them. There's plants that animals can eat to help themselves with that, and you can administer different things. Like one of the old ways when I was growing up was single Bible, or what it's called, yeah, aloe vera with a little salt and drench them with that, and that usually helped back in the day. I don't know how true it is now, but my grandmother swore by it, and we did it, and saved animals. You know what I mean? So TJ say he only I just worm once as needed. It's the same here. I worm as needed as an animal needed, but I've been practicing Dr. O'Brien's method of 3 days straight, and it's been working wonders for us. You know what I mean? Animals, you can see the difference real fast. Um, so everybody got their own way of doing it. I actually just follow um, what Dr. O'Brien recommend I do, and it's been working. So um, I suggest that when you're doing deworming, use a method that was recommended by a vet or somebody with vast experience in this. You know, because under administering the meds, the dewormer will create a bigger problem. Doing it at the wrong intervals will create a bigger problem. So it's very important that when you guys do deworming, it's done correct, the correct way. Under deworming, under administering the medication could give you a major problem. The worms will multiply on you. So, and it will be the bad ones that multiply on you. The ones that are um, resistant to the dewormer. So you have to apply and administer it correctly, the right dosage. And really and truly, you should not administer dewormer unless you weigh the animal, know the proper weight of the animal, or as close as possible. And it's written on all these bottles, all these packaging has it on it. So people may not read it, but it says know the weight of the animal before you administer it, because the administering is based on weight. The dosage, I mean, is based on weight. So remember that. So I see all these suggestions on what different organic dewormers. And remember, folks, that um, every goat has a certain amount of worms in them, worm load in them. You know what I mean? Some more than some can manage, some can't. But they always have some level of worm in them. So the idea is to have a hardy herd that can animals can actually function and thrive and be productive with a certain level of worm load. And you don't have to be deworming. You build a herd based on the stronger one, the ones that can actually deal with a certain level of deworm, a certain level of worm load. All right. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna call it a night and check on these folks, and I appreciate everyone for being here, and thank you all for participating, and thanks to everybody who subscribed to our YouTube channel. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're just gonna keep growing and keep putting out content. We're planning now to try to document more of what's going on the farm. I'm not used to this just having camera all the time, so I'm gonna have to get used to it because people are saying, "Yo, you don't put out enough videos." So there's so much that's happening. I don't remember to turn on the camera and thing when things are happening. I don't remember to do that. I have to keep reminding myself, "Oh, you should document this." So I'm gonna try my best to start doing more of that and give you guys a more insight or more of what's going on over here, how we're doing things, and how our system works, and how we move animals around. So thank you all for being a part of this. It was a great discussion. Yes, it was a great discussion, and I appreciate everybody participating. And we need more of this, sharing ideas that are constructive and help everybody move forward. And don't forget to check out our iGoat chat. And let me be clear on the iGoat chat group page. I'm gonna try to make that an information page where we people just come and get information and share information. You know what I mean? Not I don't really want it to be everything got to be in context. It should be in context. If you post some goat, put it in context. Why you goat them look so? Why them hot? Why them look nice? You know, where you feed, whatever. Put it in context so people can learn. Don't just post a goat and nothing to it. You know what I mean? I want people to learn, share information. That's what we're about. That's what iGoat started as. That's what the group page should be about. Share information. You can post your goat if you want to sell goat there, everything, but things should be in context. Bring value to our members. Thank you guys, and see you guys next week. And all the people, we'll see you next tomorrow when we keep talking and posting in different groups. Respect and have a good night. And I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with our friends. All right. Thank you again. See you next week.